So, today is September 3rd, 2025, and the future of British land power is being forged in steel. The Challenger 3 main battle tank, it represents a monumental leap forward for the British Army, a machine designed for the brutal realities of 21st century warfare. But as these formidable beasts begin to roll off the production line, there's still a shadow hanging over their potential. Is this new tank the technological silver bullet that'll guarantee Britain an edge on any future battlefield? Or honestly, does the stark reality of its limited numbers mean it's a powerful gesture, but one that's ultimately too small to make a decisive difference when the chips are down? This question, it lies at the very heart of Britain's modern defence strategy. We live in an age where conflicts aren't just won by courage and grit, but by technological supremacy. The Challenger 3 is the embodiment of that philosophy. It's packed with cutting-edge systems, a devastating new main gun, and revolutionary armour. It's designed to see first, shoot first, and survive the most punishing of hits. In a one-on-one duel, it might just be the most capable tank on the planet. But war is never a fair fight. It's a chaotic, sprawling affair where mass and attrition often play just as big a role as individual capability. So, what do you think? Can a small force of hyper-advanced tanks truly dominate a battlefield against a much larger, albeit less sophisticated enemy? The debate isn't just academic. The war in Ukraine has provided a stark and brutal lesson in modern combat. We've seen how drones, long-range artillery, and sophisticated anti-tank guided missiles have challenged the long-held dominance of the main battle tank. Old tanks have become vulnerable coffins, while even the most modern have been tested to their limits. The British Army believes that the answer isn't more of the same, but something fundamentally better. They're betting that the superior protection, sensing and networking of the Challenger 3 will allow it to survive and thrive where others have failed. This decision to prioritize quality over quantity marks a pivotal moment in British military history. For centuries, the British Army has often found itself outnumbered, relying on superior training, discipline, and technology to prevail. The Challenger 3 is the latest chapter in that long and storied tradition. It's a statement of intent, a declaration that Britain won't compete on numbers but on sheer technological prowess. But as we stand here today, the question remains a potent one. Is this bold strategy a stroke of genius, or is it a high-stakes gamble that could leave Britain dangerously exposed in a major conflict? To understand the urgent need for Challenger 3, we've got to first look at its predecessor. The Challenger 2 was, and honestly still is, a formidable machine. It earned its legendary status in Iraq, where it proved to be one of the most survivable tanks in the world, boasting an incredible operational record without a single combat loss due to enemy fire. Its Chobham, or Dorchester armour, was a closely guarded secret. Chobham Dorchester, a revolutionary composite material that could withstand impacts that would have shredded other tanks. For its time, it was an icon of British engineering, a symbol of strength and resilience that was respected by allies and, feared by adversaries across the globe. But time, as it always does, marched on. While the Challenger 2's armour stayed world-class, its offensive capabilities began to lag dangerously behind. Its most significant drawback was its main weapon, the L-30A 120mm rifled gun. While accurate and powerful, it was unique among NATO allies, who had almost universally standardized on smoothbore cannons. This created a huge logistical problem. Britain was the only nation using its specific type of ammunition, making it impossible to share munitions with allies like the Americans or Germans in the heat of battle. Imagine a scenario where a British tank squadron is running low on shells but is fighting alongside a German Leopard 2 unit with a full stock. They simply couldn't help each other. This ammunition issue was more than a logistical headache. It was a strategic vulnerability. The rifled gun also limited the development of more advanced high-pressure munitions that were being fielded by other nations. Rivals like Russia were developing tanks such as the T-14 Armata, equipped with new armour and advanced weapon systems. The Challenger 2, with its analog-era electronics and outdated gun, was at risk of being outmatched and outgunned. Its fire control systems, once state-of-the-art, were becoming obsolete in a world of digital sights, thermal imagers and networked battlefields, where identifying and engaging a target in seconds is the difference between life and death. The tank's mobility also became a point of concern. While not slow, its engine and transmission were aging designs that struggled to keep pace with the latest generation of armored fighting vehicles. Upgrades were made over the years, but they were piecemeal solutions to a growing problem. The fundamental architecture of the tank was a product of the late Cold War era. To face the threats of the 2020s and beyond, the British Army knew it couldn't just apply another sticking plaster. It needed a revolution, not an evolution. The era of the Challenger 2 was over. A successor was not just desirable, it was absolutely essential for survival. The Challenger 3 is honestly more than just an upgrade. It's a near-total rebuild. At its heart is the answer to the Challenger 2's biggest weakness, a brand new main gun. The British have adopted the Rheinmetall 120mm L55, a one-smoothbore cannon. The very same family of high-performance guns used on Germany's formidable Leopard 2A7. This single decision, well, it changes everything. It immediately brings Britain back into the NATO fold, allowing for complete ammunition interoperability with key allies. Shared logistics, simplified supply chains, greater collective firepower. This new gun isn't just about logistics, it's about lethality. Kinetic energy penetrators, programmable high-explosive rounds at much higher velocities than its rifled predecessor. This translates to greater range, superior accuracy, and a far deadlier punch capable of defeating the most advanced enemy armor. To put it simply, where the Challenger 2's gun was beginning to struggle against modern threats, the Challenger 3's cannon can confidently kill any tank it's likely to face on the battlefield. It's a quantum leap in offensive power, restoring the tank to its rightful place as a true apex predator. But what good is a powerful gun if you can't survive to use it? The Challenger 3 complements its new firepower with a new generation of modular armor. While the specifics are, of course, a closely guarded secret, the system is designed around adaptability. Instead of a single fixed layer of protection, different armor packages can be fitted depending on the specific threat environment. For the turret, a brand new UK-designed suite provides enhanced protection, while the hull incorporates the latest evolution of the legendary Dorchester armor. This is all supplemented by a new active protection system, or APS, which uses radar to detect incoming rockets, incoming missiles, and fires a countermeasure to destroy them before they even hit the tank. This combination of passive and active protection is critical for survival in the modern era. We've seen in Ukraine how even the toughest tanks can be vulnerable to top attack munitions and sophisticated anti-tank guided missiles. The Challenger 3's multi-layered defense is designed to counter precisely these threats. The APS acts as a shield against incoming projectiles, while the advanced passive armor provides the ultimate safeguard if anything gets through. It's a philosophy of defense in depth, creating a protective bubble around the crew that is arguably the most comprehensive of any tank in the world today. It's a fortress on tracks, built to withstand the worst the enemy can throw at it. Okay, so the true revolution of the Challenger 3 may not actually be its gun armor, but honestly its mind. This tank has been built from the ground up with a fully digitized electronic architecture, transforming it from an old-school analog machine into a network node on a digital battlefield. That's a fundamental shift in how the tank operates and fights. Now, the crew is equipped with state-of-the-art day and night thermal imaging commander and gunner sights. This so-called hunter-killer capability means the commander can scan for new targets independently, while the gunner is engaging a previously identified one, which, drastically reduces the time it takes to find and destroy multiple enemies. This digital backbone connects everything: engine, weapon systems, sights, communications. They're all integrated into a single, cohesive network. That allows for real-time diagnostics, giving the crew and maintenance teams instant updates on the tank's health. But even more importantly, it allows the Challenger 3 to share data seamlessly with other assets on the battlefield. Imagine a drone spotting a hidden enemy position miles away. That information can be instantly transmitted and displayed on the tank commander's screen, allowing them to slew the gun onto the target without ever having seen it with their own eyes. This is the future of combined arms warfare. The old way of fighting involved tank commanders peering through periscopes and communicating over crackly radios. The new way? It involves a constant flow of information from every friendly unit in the area. Other tanks, infantry, helicopters, unmanned systems. The crew of a Challenger 3 will have a god's eye view of the battlefield, seeing friendly and enemy positions plotted on a digital map in real time. That means they can make faster, better informed decisions than their adversaries, avoiding ambushes, striking with devastating precision when the moment is right. This level of connectivity fundamentally changes the role of the tank. It's no longer just a blunt instrument for breakthrough assaults. It becomes a mobile, protected, highly lethal sensor and command post. It can gather intelligence, coordinate attacks, bring its immense firepower to bear exactly where it is needed most. But, the question is, can this technological advantage truly overcome the brute force of a numerically superior opponent? Is being smarter always better than being bigger? Here we arrive at the great unavoidable problem, the numbers. The British Army is set to receive just 148 Challenger 3 tanks, aerial reminder of the Cold War scale, hundreds of tanks lined up. Just to put this figure into perspective, enough to equip 2 armoured regiments with a small number left for training and reserves. In a large-scale, high-intensity conflict, 148 tanks is a very small force. Does Britain have enough armoured mass to make a meaningful contribution, or to sustain its force through inevitable combat losses? This shortfall comes from years of defence cuts and a strategic shift towards lighter, more deployable forces. The thinking, the era of major tank-on-tank battles, was over, replaced by counterinsurgency operations and peacekeeping operations. Ukraine shattered that assumption. Industrial-scale warfare is back on planners' minds. Suddenly, 148 tanks sounds less like a modern lean force and more, to critics, dangerously inadequate. Can this size force, however advanced, hold its own, or achieve decisive objectives against an enemy that can field tanks by the thousand? The British answer, a new operational concept. Challenger 3S are not to be thrown in carelessly. They are a precious, high-value asset to be preserved for the decisive moment. Use expendable systems like drones and light attack helicopters to attrite the enemy and shape the battlefield. Infantry, supported by artillery and air power, would do the bulk of the holding and attritional fighting. Challenger 3s are the cavalry, held in reserve for the critical charge. But is this doctrine brilliant, or risky justification for scarce resources? It demands immense discipline, flawless intelligence, and perfect timing. Committed too early, they can be whittled down. Committed too late, the battle may already be lost. It puts enormous pressure on a very small number of crews and machines. What do you believe? Smart, pragmatic use of limited assets, or the result of political and financial decisions that left the army short? As we stand on the cusp of this new era, the Challenger 3 forces us to confront the most fundamental question in modern military strategy. In the final analysis, what wins wars, technology or mass? Britain has firmly placed its bet on technology. The Challenger 3 is the physical manifestation of this bet, a tank designed to be so superior in its individual capabilities that it can overcome a significant numerical disadvantage. Its ability to see further, shoot more accurately, communicate more effectively, survive hits that would destroy lesser tanks. It's a bold and confident vision for the future of the British Army. This gamble on quality is not without precedent. History is filled with examples of smaller, technologically or tactically superior forces defeating larger ones. The British Army hopes that the Challenger 3, when integrated into a wider network, drones, cyber, precision-guided munitions, will be the armoured fist at the end of a very long and intelligent arm. The goal is not to trade tank for tank, but to use superior information and precision to dismantle the enemy's ability to fight before a direct confrontation even occurs. However, there is a powerful counter-argument, one that has been written in blood on the battlefields of Ukraine. Quantity has a quality all of its own. A determined enemy with a vast industrial base and a willingness to accept heavy losses can often overwhelm a smaller, more sophisticated force through sheer attrition. An enemy can afford to lose 10 of their older tanks to take out one of your advanced ones, a trade they might be willing to make all day long. A force of just 148 tanks, however powerful, has very little strategic depth. It cannot be in two places at once, and every single loss will be felt deeply. Ultimately, the success or failure of the Challenger 3 will not be determined on a test range or in a computer simulation. It will be decided by the unpredictable and brutal realities of war. Is Britain's bet on a small number of exquisitely engineered machines the right one for the turbulent decades ahead? Or is it a dangerous folly in a world where mass conflict seems to be returning? The Challenger 3 is a magnificent piece of engineering, a tank that is arguably second to none. But whether it can change everything or whether it will simply be a footnote in a larger, grimmer story of industrial warfare is a question only the future can answer.